the spring of 1992, we had a visit, first visit by the foreign minister, then foreign minister of Ukraine, Mr. Zelenko. And for me, what really sticks in my mind is that the Ukrainian government wanted to redo each of the 37 agreements that the United States had with Ukraine at that time, or had with the Soviet Union. And we had to translate those all into Ukrainian. And I was responsible for certifying, and yet I signed the documents that certified they were all right. And I went home that night and I told my wife, and I said a prayer that we did it okay.
I was 15 at that time, and the only thing I remember clearly, the thing that was rather remarkable to me, it is the understanding that the following year I would receive a national passport not of the USSR, but the national passport of Ukraine. I had special feelings as I was finishing my studies in Moscow, and at the very same days, my last days in Moscow, the famous revolution was taking place. The thing I remember is a great, bright, I would say, romantic spirit.
The first time when I came to Ukraine was actually the late 1990s, when I was working in Russia. And I always remember my first impression was the enthusiasm and the energy, I think, of the Ukrainian people.
My first visit to Ukraine was in October of last year. And I still remember the journey in from the airport. Coming across the bridge, and you see the city of Kiev with the golden domes, and the forests, the woods. This is, I think, actually the big surprise for the visitor on the first time to Ukraine, is quite how beautiful the city is.
When I first came to Ukraine was in 2001. I've seen a real country which is sort of developing. I understood immediately that this independence is irreversible, which is a very good thing. It's a new country in the middle of Europe.
It is still a young country, the independent Ukraine. It's basically the same age as my children. And if I look at what my children have been through in the last 20 years, there are good times, bad times, ups and downs. I think it's perhaps the same with Ukraine, but like with my children, I see the country maturing.
Well, I've worked with American chambers in a number of countries where I've served as ambassador, and I think the chambers have always fulfilled a key role of representing the business community, the American business community, but also offering our assistance, our knowledge, our experiences to the host government in trying to build their own business community.
It took a lot of time and effort. But over the years, it's been a pleasure to work with so many great people that have been dedicated to the Chamber and dedicated to our cause of working towards building a better business environment in Ukraine, stimulating investment, and ensuring that this new market economy on the border of the new larger Europe is successful.
Then I think one of my more fond memories of the Chamber situation was our first picnic.
I think it was somewhere in Berezhniki.
Yeah, anyway, Ambassador Papaduke was there again, and then the other charter members of the Chamber. I remember fondly that Sunday first Chamber picnic anyway. It was quite delightful. It was a sort of a potluck thing. We all brought something. We all scrounged together to get charcoal and to have a barbecue, and so that was a fun time.
Well, I joined the Chamber back in November of 1998, and it was an interesting time for the Chamber. We were looking for a new home for our office space. We only had a very few staff members. There were very few systems in place.
I've known the Chamber for a long time, but we started this close cooperation when I became the head of Tax and Customs Committee, which later became the Joint Committee for Tax, Customs, Banking and Finance, and we began working closely on a variety of issues with this powerful organization, and I think that we've managed to do a lot.
Coca-Cola Ukraine is very proud to be a founding member of the American Chamber of Commerce. Congratulations to all the Chamber of Commerce for the significant achievements in the business environment over the past 20 years.
McDonald's has been a member of the Chamber since 2000. So I guess for the last 12 years. I think the key role of the Chamber is about bringing people together. We represent the majority of all large foreign investors that are doing business in Ukraine. But it's also about bringing Ukrainian investors, government, and international financial organizations all together to sit around the table.
We became a member of the Chamber ACC in 2005. And since then, 7 years, and we've been living together. We are a family of the Chamber now. The Chamber is, for me, it's the voice of the business world. The voice of all the international companies, obviously.
As a chamber, I think they do a good job of lobbying the government and nudging the government as to what's right and what's business friendly and what's not. It's obviously a difficult market to do that in some cases, but I think that's a very important role, and the chamber is uniquely qualified to do that.
We are discussing our joint approaches to lobbying. We exchange our ideas about what should be and what should not be done in this country from the point of view of FMCG sector, retail sector, some other sectors as well.
We always find a constructive approach during our meetings. Currently, we are discussing a number of issues aimed at improving customs legislation. We take the Chamber's position into account and consider the organization's opinion as very important for us. I consider the Chamber to be among the most important institutions operating in our country. It is the support of business, assistance in drafting legislation, and it is adherence to the best European and world standards. Chamber's position is very useful for us, as well as cooperation in the legislative sphere as a signal to international business, and I hope that the Chamber also benefits from cooperation with our ministry.
The Chamber, I believe, has a key role to play in helping to build that dialogue between industry and the government to set out the right set of rules, of laws and regulations that will both encourage business, allow it to flourish, and allow it to be here and be successful for many decades to come.
The Chamber is doing a great job promoting high-level, transparent business standards in the country and should definitely continue doing so.
The Chamber is a concentration of intelligence, high experience, and management and marketing level. A union of institutions and people that are very much oriented on development. I congratulate this important organization, and I think that if we've cooperated for 20 years, it means that this cooperation is productive and will continue to improve. I wish the Chamber to be active and to continue its work for the benefit of Ukraine.
I think the American Chamber here in Kyiv has done a terrific job of that, and I salute Jorge Zukovsky and all the members of the board who have worked so hard on the different committees and in their own private capacities.
If I could describe the Chamber in just one word, my word would be innovative. This is a question that we've asked to everyone that we've interviewed for this video, and it'll be interesting to see what their response is as well.
Efficient.
Indispensable.
Teaming up.
The driving force of the proper business environment development.
Overachievers.
The voice of the business world.
Constructive.
The best.
None of this would be possible without the wonderful partnership that the Chamber has been able to build across a wide spectrum of key decision makers here in Ukraine. Thank you to everyone for that incredible support that you've provided to the Chamber over the years, and we look forward to another 5 years of success and celebrating again 25 years together.